Welcome back, everybody. Kenny Smyson here. I do put out Starfield content every week, so be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And today I'm going to be doing another Hab Showroom series for you guys, continuing with all of the empty Habs that we've done. Let's see, last time was Hope Tech, so today, of course, is Nova Galactic, going alphabetical. And the intent of these series is to take a quick look at what they look like fully furnished in the top deck, and then we'll drop below to look at the empty Hab, which is the custom Hab, and to see exactly what you've lost and retained, because in some cases you still kind of keep some parts of the structure and the wall, etc. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. First up, we have the Sleeper Berth A, which is basically the Nova Galactic Frontier Hab, and it's got the research station on the right, navigation console, bathroom in the back corner, dining table, galley right over there with a bed, single bed on this Hab. And that's what that wall looks like. Most people don't see it often because that's where the door is on the Frontier. But anyways, when we drop down below, we'll see what we're losing. You still keep the bathroom in the corner, but you lose the research station tucked up there, which it would be really nice if that particular research station was available in decor, but it's not. Obviously, you lose the navigation console, you lose the table, but you do keep this cool thing up here, so that way if you still wanted to do your own table down there, you could. There is one Hab that unfortunately loses this piece. We'll get to that later in the line, which is very frustrating because it's one of my favorite Habs in the game. But let's see, you still keep your kitchen there, and then that one bed. It would have been nice if that mattress was at least gone, so you could do something else with that. Although I suppose you could still just put stuff on there and do something else with it. But yep, that's the All-in-One Berth A. This is the All-in-One Berth B, which has a bathroom in the back there. Does not have a functional galley, but just kind of this little coffee stations section there. And then it's got 3 beds and 3 lockers, so I do like using this Hab quite a bit for having a larger crew size kind of setup, especially with it not being bunk beds. I like the idea of no bunk beds for my crew members. Hopping down, we're going to take a look at what we're missing in this. Now you still have all 3 beds, none of the lockers, table, and the whole little coffee stand is cleared out, and then this section of the room is cleared out except for the bathroom. So this still ends up really just basically being a crew quarters, but at least it gives you the chance to kind of decorate it as you see fit. I mean, you could even put a cooking station in here somewhere, probably on this half, I don't know. Whatever floats your boat or flies your ship. Next up, we've got the 2x1 Armory, which, as you can imagine, lots of weapon racks and cases and whatnot. This one also has the 2 mannequins, so you guys can put your spacesuits on those and attire, clothing, and whatnot. And when you drop down, obviously this room really gets cleared out. But I do like how you have these the bulkheads or these fence-looking kind of design to it. You could like set up kind of like a secure entrance to a ship, right? Especially how you have just a solid wall on this side where it's almost like, maybe entering the Brig. You could have this kind of be a transition into a Brig, maybe. Especially the Nova Galactic Brig, which I'm not a fan of, the 2x2 Brig, because all the cells are just kind of the 2 cells are kind of in a weird setup. But yep, good room to do some stuff with here. Next up, we've got the 2x1 Captain's Quarters. The one thing I don't like about the Nova Galactic Captain's Quarters is there's no bathroom, but it's got a cool layout. It's got this center room where the actual bed is, and I think I might have caused something to be lost with that ladder right there. I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, you've got kind of your lounge area here. So we'll hop down, see what we got down here. And as you can imagine, just cleaned out, lots of empty space, but the bed is still there. So again, just like the all-in-one berths with the beds staying, kind of forces you to turn this into a bedroom in a way, but it does have a functional galley in it. Next up, we're in the computer core, which has a +1 to your crew size. Similar layout to the captain's quarters with this small little room in the middle here, but just a basic desk. Nothing really functional in here, aside from chairs you could just sit down in, some benches and whatnot. But if we head down, you're still going to have that basic layout with this room here in the middle, but it's pretty well cleared out. I tried to put a mattress there to see if it would fit, but the sleeping bags, I should say, aren't ones that I have in the game. You know, the stock vanilla ones do not fit there, so you wouldn't be able to turn this into a bedroom. But if you still wanted a bedroom with this layout, you would just choose the captain's quarters anyways. And here we have the control room, which is the only control room with a galley. In fact, a lot of the Nova Galactic Habs have a functional galley in it, which I love that. But yeah, just pretty much a large basic room with lots of consoles. Cool thing about having the empty version of this hab is you still retain the +4 to your crew, right? So what you could do is use this as if you're on a small ship, if you want a large crew, you could take this hab and then deck it out because you have your kitchen. You could basically do like a little living quarters with tables and stuff like that in here and still pull off a large crew, even on a small ship. And here is the infirmary with your beds and your research station, pharmaceutical lab. Pretty basic setup. I do like how this one's divided with kind of like a little staff section over here. Basically, you got your lockers and a little table to sit at. But as you can imagine, when you head downstairs, pretty well cleaned out, and the hab does not do any, bonuses to crew or passenger count. So I guess if you have something very specific in mind for this setup, you could do something maybe with it. But other than that, not a whole lot here. And here it is. This is my favorite hab in the game, which I often will use as a captain's quarters. It's the Nova Galactic living quarters, which has 2 beds, but I'll oftentimes put a window or a door on one of the other beds, depending on the ship I'm on. Just got everything you need in it. A galley, bathroom, 2 beds, so you would still retain one. Table, TV, sofa, right? Now the downside is that, this light monitor structure that's above the dining table, I was hoping that would still be there so I could do a custom thing. Unfortunately, it's gone on this ship, as you can see, and it's not a decorative item in your ship decorations, so I can't even place it back up there. But you still have the beds are still physically there. You still have the galley, and then the bathroom, of course. And this is the science lab, which, just like a lot of the Nova Galactic Habs, has a functional galley, but also your research station and your pharmaceutical stations. I definitely love the look of this hab. A lot of fun. And if we head on downstairs, you retain the galley, but obviously everything else gets cleared out. So, not a lot to work with, but I mean, it just depends on what you want to try to pull off with your build. And the final 2x1, of course, is the workshop. Some good industrial kind of machinery down on this end with all your functional stations here. No research lab in this one, like the Stroud and Deimos have, but you have your spacesuit, weapon, and outpost workbenches. Lots of cool stuff in this hab here. And if you head downstairs, obviously pretty well cleaned out, but you do have this room section over here with this little fence, so could get kind of creative with that, I guess, but again, much like the infirmary and the science lab, not much to do with this one unless there's a very specific vision you might have for doing something in here. And no stats to this hab either. And this is the 3x1 engineering hab, the only 3x1. Pretty basic, just a bunch of large industrial machines operating, a couple lockers, which is kind of nice little touch for your engineering crew, right? So nothing too fancy. This one does give you the +1 to your crew, so I could almost see you wanting a larger crew, but you don't necessarily want the battle stations or the control room. So you go with this one, and it sets you up for having kind of like a nice corridor down the middle of your ship. That's what I really like about this long 3x1. Because I used the HopeTech 3x1 engineering hab on one of my my combat medic ships to be kind of like the central corridor. Worked out pretty well, but having the empty one here where you could decorate it to your liking is definitely even better, because these fences here will stay there even if you have a door. So kind of helps like the flow of the walkways and doors. Moving on into the 2x2s, we're in the All-in-One Berth. Got your 2 beds back here with some just lounge area, and technically that's up front. Back right corner, we've got just a storage room. Another sitting area, storage room, and then like a galley right here with the bathroom. Now, unlike a lot of the Nova Galactic galleys that are like built into the Hab, this one's just the the cook station that's not part of the walls. So you could easily rearrange your whole setup with this one. So this is a pretty decent Hab to work with. I mean, you could even put the kitchen in there, I guess. The bathroom stays back there in the corner, but this really ends up just being like kind of a nice divided room setup with, kind of like 3-4ish rooms depending on how you look at it. Obviously, those beds stay there, but could still have a lot of flexibility with this one. Turn it into more of a what you want, right? Next up, we are in the battle stations. This is a pretty unique one in that it's like this big U-turn shape with the wall splitting it right down the middle. You've got lots of computer consoles on all the walls, huge monitors. Your battle station is over in this side. So I like to say this one wants to be good, but doesn't quite stick the landing. I'm not quite sure what it is for me. But as you can see, once you take everything out, just a big slate room. Unfortunately, you can't put beds or anything on those. There's none of the cots or mattresses or sleeping bags will fit on there. Because that's like the cutout that they use for desks and beds sometimes. But this just ends up being a pretty huge... I mean, in a way, you could probably do more stuff with this not being the battle stations. Or have it be a battle stations on one half, but like a corridor coming down the other side. So I guess this would actually give you some freedom to operate in, huh? I hadn't thought about that before. And this is the Brig, which the other 4 Brigs all have the same floor plan, just some different color palette and decoration. But I don't like this one as much because in this one, the cells open up into the main room, whereas on the other ones, the cells are at least behind like a secondary door, which makes more sense from a security standpoint. So that's the downside to this one. And then, of course, as you can imagine, you go downstairs, and it's basically... It still has to be a Brig, realistically, just because you have your cells still there with beds in them and whatnot. I guess you could at least decorate it the way you want, but yeah, just not a fan of this one at all. And here's your cargo hall. I've always liked this one. It's probably my favorite of the different ones, just because it has like a more mixed up floor plan. It's got this little separate section with the fence and whatnot inside of it, so always been a fan of this one. Wish it had a bathroom like the Stroud Eklund, but oh well. And then once you clean it out, it does get rid of that fence right here. So at this point, the Hab doesn't have any bonuses. There's nothing interactive with it. So I guess these walls kind of give you a little bit to work with, but not as much as some of the other Habs. So bit of a bummer, but... And last but not least for the 2x2s is everybody's favorite living quarters because of the pool table. Got your built-in galley right there, bathrooms in the corner, dining table right there, some desks, workout section, 2 beds in this one, and a nice little lounge area. So as you can imagine, pretty much lose everything down here except the beds. And then I think... Yeah, you still have your bathroom back there and your built-in galley, so... I guess you could still do some fun stuff with this one, but I'd be more likely to use the All-in-One Berth instead with the 2 built-in beds in the bathroom in that one, because at least have the option to put the kitchen where you want to, whereas this one, it's kind of forced because of the galley up there. Next up are the 2x3s. There's only a couple of them. This one is the cargo hall, and this one's pretty wild with the way the walls just curve through the width of it being 3 wide. You've got these different rooms and kind of shapes the walls make, which is really kind of weird. I don't know if you could really pull something off with it, but let's find out what we look like down here. Okay, so it just ends up making it a lot more empty once you get rid of those shelves. Then you have this little corner room, and then of course the room back over here. Don't quite know what you could do with it, but I imagine if you have like a very specific idea on why you'd want these solid walls, But then, you know what? If they ever just, if there's a mod just allowing you a big room and plug these walls in, because I imagine those walls are like different sections, right? And you just snap them on. That'd be pretty awesome. But I digress. And here is your mess hall, 2x3. Pretty sweet setup. You got a nice kitchen here with your galley and the cooking station, food storage, and a huge dining area right in the middle. And then head on over here. You've got kind of like a smaller lounge area. So this is definitely one of my favorite mess halls, just the way it's kind of laid out. It's got a variety of stuff going on in it. I think the downside is, yeah, this one does not have a bathroom though, but I think the 3x2 mess hall does. So let's see what we have downstairs. I bet you're going to probably, okay, so you still have that galley built into the wall, so that kind of forces you to have your kitchen in this section here. But then you could just turn that into a kitchen dining area, not have a huge dining area in the middle if you wanted, right? Like actually on my combat medic, I was considering turning it into one of these large 2x3 or 3x2 mess halls into the, like the medical wing, you know, with multiple beds, you know, a step above like an infirmary. Could work. And this is the one and only 3x2, which is a mess hall. I considered doing this one, like I was saying in the last Hab, as like in a medical wing. You've got the kitchen in here, which it's a little annoying to have the cooking station and the galley built into the wall right next to each other, but it is what it is. Food storage in this corner. And then just kind of an interesting layout in general. A little lounge area here in the middle. And of course my favorite, a bathroom, which the 2x3 doesn't have one, so this one kind of wins out in that regard. Let's see what it looks like when we clear it out. Of course we'll still have the bathroom. Just huge empty room. It's kind of weird having this like diagonal walkway right there. But you got your kitchen here. Just a little corner room. Weird little kind of middle room. And this one probably would work decently as like a infirmary or like a medical wing on a larger medical ship though. And last but not least is the one and only 3x3 Nova Galactic, which is the cargo hull. I love this Hab just because of all the different rooms and the setup to it. Just has a really cool vibe going on to it. Lots of storage stuff everywhere, of course. And plenty of good options for having windows and doors come into here without it messing it up much. Now, I think I've had a door come right in the dead center right there down the middle, which worked out pretty well. This little fenced wall thing here. And of course, my favorite, we've got a bathroom for the crew in the back right there. So let's look what we have going on downstairs. Bathroom, of course, stays unless you have a wall right there, a window or a door, I mean. You'll lose it. Let's see, we've got this little room section here on the walls. But you do lose that little fenced, short fence thing right there. Which is fine, of course. I mean, you can get a little more freedom with what to do in here. I mean, heck, this would almost make for a good medical wing. But man, it would take forever to decorate it. That's why I don't do too much internal decorations. It's so much fun, but it's so time consuming. It's worse than doing a ship build itself, you know? Trying to get things placed just right to make it look like a legit livable environment. Well, folks, I do hope you found this video useful, going through all the Nova Galactic Habs. This is my my Blue Legacy with my UC Vanguard battleship. Tons of Nova Galactic Habs on it, although none of them are the empty Habs. Anyways, take care, folks. I will see you in the Starfield.
Pressure holding. Takeoff looks good.